Oh my god, nerf support, nerf tank damage. Shut the f up. Nerf your damn mental. There's been a glaring problem since Overwatch 1 came out that's slowly been eating away at people's love for the game to this day. Oh, I know, it's the microtransactions. No, get over yourself. If that's what's making you hate the game, then sorry, but you deserve the kiln. You're playing the wrong game. The real problem I wanted to discuss today is the severe lack of situational awareness and mental resolve that a massive portion of Overwatch's player base is demonstrating. And yes, it's the DPS players, or damage players if you want to get fruity with it. Now, hear me out. I know it's wrong to stereotype an entire collective group of people, but just like everyone does in real life anyway, we're going to do just that, because stereotypes come from somewhere, and that somewhere is in like 75% of my matches, even in my damn top 500 lobbies. So it's not just the ELO hell players. Okay, stick around and we'll find out why I think a massive portion of the Overwatch community are ruining the game. I'm going to come up with some features I think could be brought into the game to resolve the issues I mentioned today. So subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It makes my tackle tingle and it helps me know what kind of videos you guys want more of. So what am I talking about? Why am I so frustrated with a massive portion of the Overwatch community? Well, it's because of what I like to call the Inter syndrome. Inter stands for ignorant, negative, touchy, egotistical, and get this, arded. Like I said, in about 75% of my games, I'm seeing at least 3 of these traits demonstrated by either team. So let's cover each point and discuss some of the reasons DPS players in particular choose to exude these fatherless behaviours. Then, I'd like to discuss some potential remedies to make DPS more pleasurable to play as, play with, and play against. Just to point out, when I say DPS players, I'm talking about people who main DPS, to the point where it's their most played or only played role. Some of these behaviours can apply to anyone who plays any role in any capacity, but each of my points is amplified and bolstered when discussing the large populace of strict DPS players. The damage role has a massive natural appeal in all games, which is why it's not difficult to understand why so many people exclusively want to be the carries of the team and get all the kills and be the best when the role is built for it. We're playing a competitive game. It's obvious why a lot of people want to prove themselves in that role that facilitates that power fantasy the most. So let's move on to the Inter syndrome and why some of these behaviours are exuded by DPS players in particular. Ignorance. We all know what ignorant means, and it's not just to use as a baseless insult to annoy people. True ignorance is the lack of knowledge or information, often by one's own fault and mental refusal to engage in situational awareness. Or cognitive dissonance if you want to get fruity. Okay, now we all fall prey to it, I know that.
It's my ult and then we feel like melt their feet off.
Oh my god, yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
We all make mistakes, and sometimes we're just not paying attention to the games we play, and that's okay. But for DPS players, there is that extra layer of ignorance that they naturally succumb to, even to people who don't often play DPS. And it's so simple to overcome. Overwatch is a fairly difficult game to master. It's very different from your typical FPS game. It's a hero shooter, so there is an emphasis on abilities and cooldowns, whereby you weave them into your combat. You don't just use your primary weapon to deal damage. And so with this comes counterpicking. Yay! I'm already talking about this overdone topic, yay! Okay, in fairness though, this counterpicking philosophy is a core part of what makes Overwatch so competitive. So outpicking and outplaying your opponents to exploit their weaknesses and cover your shortcomings is a genuine mental skill in my eye. With DPS, this is extremely relevant since the damage role has the most characters in the game, and therefore you have the higher flexibility when swapping between the various heroes, and with that comes a lot of responsibility to facilitate your team's trajectory in the match. So why do I think DPS players are so ignorant? Well, it's partly the fault of the natural appeal of the role itself. Everyone wants to be the hero, everyone wants to make the cool plays and look cool doing it. So let's say you make a decent play, and you think you're playing out of your mind, and suddenly the enemy team swaps to counter you. Your first thought is that, oh, they swap because I'm doing really good. And yeah, that probably is the case. But your first reaction isn't to swap off that hero, no, it's to double down on that mentality. You then succumb to your own pride. You know you're doing good, you know you're a target, and you know you're owning this game, and you lost the round. Huh? But I was playing good. I fought for my life all game. What happened? Yeah, you fought for your life all game because their team countered or outprided you. Your effort to match your own ego doesn't equate to a higher impact on the overall game. No, your ignorance to the game around you prevented you from accepting that yes, you may have played well, mechanically speaking, but you lacked the mental capacity capacity to realise your own pride got in the way of what could have been an easier game on the entire team, not just you outplaying someone. Swap or reposition to help your team. Don't just facilitate your own personal victories. Go play COD if that's what you want. When you get caught up in your own little world of proving your own worth, you forget to focus on what's actually going to have the biggest impact on the game. Just think about the team in this team game so you can outplay their team as a valuable teammate. Don't just go running around gooning off to the personal victories, get over yourself. So earlier I did say I would think of some possible solutions to these problems, so I came up with 5 ideas, one tailored to each point of the interscale. First up, here's an idea to reduce ignorance when playing damage heroes. This may sound handholdy, but I really think there should be some part of the UI that can suggest if your pick is strong or not. For example, on the death screen it may give you some suggested heroes to swap to when you get killed by a counter. Or, during hero select, it could highlight some of the heroes that pair well with some other players' picks. I know that may sound pointless at first, since you can make so many flexible teams with varying playstyles, but I just think at least promoting the idea that a certain pick may be stronger than another might give people some visual indication that they may not have the best team's interests at heart, even if they don't follow the exact suggested picks. Some people genuinely might not realise that their pick or gameplay isn't so strong for the team, and this would help them greatly, but for those who are actively not thinking about the game and just caring about themselves, it acts as a wake-up call. If the game itself is telling you what might be going wrong, then you are more inclined to believe it than some randos shouting at you in chat. Negative. This one's an easy one to understand. We all have toxic little moments, we all go off the rails a couple times, sometimes we go completely mental. To the gallows! Some games just feel so lost that you can't help but start noshing your own keyboard. With DPS, I can kind of sympathise a little bit with how difficult the role is to keep your cool in. Failing to kill people sucks in any game, but unless you're some poor lost child finding their way into Overwatch 8 years after its release, then you need to grow up. I see so many DPS players get outplayed or just generally have a hard time killing people and just give up, cry, sit in spawn, or just generally whine all game like a little baby. You are an adult playing a game. You need to work with your team, nut the f up and chill out. Emotional plays are the worst types of plays, and DPS characters have some pretty efficient kits for trying to 1v5 an entire team out of rage. So wipe that one big salty teardrop off of your cheek and respect your team. This way you can have an easier and more stable chance of winning your ranked games. If you fancy being a negative Nancy and giving up in the competitive game mode where your sole objective is to win, then sorry, but you're actually just wasting your lifespan. It's like diving into a swimming pool when you can't swim. Oh, the pool looks really fun, but sorry pal, you need to learn to swim. The role is hard. Don't queue it without warm up if you can't handle the heat. Okay, so here's my idea to help reduce negativity amongst DPS players. I actually think they should introduce more stricter AFK and chat warnings, as well as stricter punishments or bans when the system clocks that they are sitting in spawn, typing too much, and generally flopping on the floor in a fit and not actually playing the game. No one can stop being negative. It's natural that us humans are pieces of shit and want to be angry. But I think unforgiving AFK timers and stricter chat restrictions may make people less inclined to indulge in that behaviour since, well, the game wouldn't let them. Oh, you're typing for too long compared to playing? Okay, you're now chat restricted for a minute. Oh, looks like you've been AFK for 10 seconds. Better move or you'll get a queue timer or ban. Blizzard should know by now that if you don't want people to be negative and unimpactful in your games, then don't give them the time to do so. Touchy. Now this behaviour comes out a lot with DPS players. Imagine you're minding your business playing DPS and you're having a normal game. Hell, it might even be going really well. Then all of a sudden, you lose one team fight, then one little gremlin in text chat just types swap. Now you can go about this one of 3 ways. You can either analyse your team fight potential and swap to actually do better as a team, or you can just ignore it and take it like a champ, or you can unleash the damn wolf and take it as a personal attack on your entire gameplay, and that they're basically calling you nothing and worthless. Again, this is applicable to all roles, but DPS arguably has the most mechanical skill expression. So when you are told that your mechanical skill is not good enough, you can take it the wrong way sometimes, especially since it likely took a lot of effort and practice to get good at your hero. It's easy for people to get mad in any context when something they are working hard at is criticised, even if they are quite objectively skilled at it. Just chill out. If someone else is being toxic about your gameplay, just either ignore it, or take a moment to reflect on whether they are actually right in some way, even if they went about suggesting it in a toxic manner. What not to do is take it as a personal attack. Your mechanical skill is also compromised when your blood is boiling and your veins are literally about to pop. So how would I try to ease some of the touchiness DPS players experience? problems? Get thicker skin. Egotistical. We all know this one. We're all guilty. But keep your damn pride to yourself. Nothing irritates me more in Overwatch than when someone types in all chat. What the hell are you even typing to the enemy for? Unless it's GG, I don't want to hear it. Don't type sit when you kill a 1 HP Mercy trying out the hero for the first time. Don't type easy when you just get an accidental kill on Junkrat. We're human. We're naturally egotistical, so just tone it back a bit. I understand it's a game where we can indulge in our power fantasies, but with DPS players, because they are the killers or the carries of the team, their ego just becomes so inflated that I actually think I'm playing with AI. They don't appear human at all. It's not just AFK typing in chat or death rattling in voice chat. No, I'm seeing ego infect its way into all facets of the game. One example that everyone experiences is these one-trick ponies inting all game because of their pride for a hero. Yeah, we get it, you like us, you're a virgin, get off Widow. They're playing Winston, Genji and Sombra, you are perma-dying. Oh well, I can play what I want. Yes brother, you can. But unless you're in quick play, that shit cannot fly. You are here to win. Get out of competitive. You also see all the hero players come out where the DPS go for their personal victories, which is fine on paper. If they're trying their damn hardest to outmatch their opponents, then that's fine. But sometimes you just need to cut your losses if they are better. You've all seen those moments where both your DPS go and peek the enemy Widow when they know full well she is better, and their necks bend like Beckham backwards as you watch from behind cover. They just want to get that one risky heroic kill on her, so they can say, yeah, we've done our bit, and you were just trash. Okay, that's cool. You're playing DPS and not focusing on the objectives. A baby could understand that. So how would I resolve the ego issue? Well, this is a complex issue relating to the human psyche, but I can at least say my chat warning ideas from earlier can help remediate some of these toxic pride-driven issues. In terms of stopping people from one-tricking and going for hero plays, I think the only idea I could see working is some sort of pick and ban phase for each team before the match starts, or between each round might even be good. Let's assume each team would get to ban one tank, one support and one DPS each round. That way you can at least try and negate some of your weaknesses and have better confidence in your picks rather than falling prey to certain bad enemy matchups that only your ego is preventing you from overcoming. Although it's worth noting, I do think this would only work best in higher level lobbies where these mental shortcomings have the most detriment to the team due to the coin flip nature of DPS on both teams. I could have picked a more PC term for how I think these DPS players act, but you're all alpha gamers, I know you all understood exactly what I meant clearly when I called these people Damage heroes are extremely hard to play. I genuinely can't get past masters playing DPS, so I 100% understand I'm part of the problem, in ranked games at least. But like I said, the damage roll is so difficult. I actually think low masters is where the ratio of skills to smarts peaks. From masters onwards is where you really have to improve your gameplay to rank up. So what I end up seeing is DPS players losing their marbles inting all game between masters and top 500, and I think this is due to how difficult that role can be. I don't know whether the smart ratio plummets because of burnout, frustration, or if it's just a lack of motivation since players have already reached their very solid rank. Either way, it's becoming a massive problem in high level lobbies because teamfights are often more about picks and dives rather than long-winded teamfights. So when your DPS are faltering slightly for whatever reasons, like suggested previously, you end up getting outpicked, outpositioned, and outplayed so easily. It really does feel like a coin flip each time a fight is about to start. Which team's frontline Junkrat gets headshot first? Whose Genji ults and gets insta-slapped and cries even though he's coming at them from the same exact angle over and over again each fight? Man, of course they're going to be ready for you. Whatever the case, I really can sympathise with these players. But at least I have the mental capacity to know my own shortcomings and take a damn break if I need it. So how would I try to resolve this issue? Well, like I said, I really do think DPS players have it tough practicing their mechanical and mental skills so much. I think perhaps a short couple minute or so lost time before queuing on consistent losses may help remediate some of the frustration and reduce rage-fueled brute force play sessions. It may give the players time to reflect, practice, relax, or even promote them to take a break if they're having a hard time. This could be applicable to all roles. Nothing's worse than carrying over your last bad game into your new one. For all our sakes, chill out please. Oh my fucking god.
That sounded like a chainsaw.